August 10th, 2018.
And this is Nerd Bourbon episode 62. I'm Seth Sturgill.
And I'm Todd Sturgill, and this is Nerd Bourbon at Night.
It is Nerd Bourbon and I. This is going to be a shotgun ass podcast this week. This is going to be a fucking shotgun podcast, like a shotgun wedding this week.
Some real shit.
We are recording. This is the latest. We've done some we've done some last minute ones before. Where like for me, like last minute is like, oh, doing it on a Wednesday and it posts on a Friday. Mm-hmm. This is like, oh, doing it on a Friday and it posts on a Friday.
Yeah, it's just you've been really really busy this past week, and it's just this is the only time that we've actually been able to sit down and actually record.
My life is like a joke right now,
and it's funny is like the earliest time we could have recorded was technically Saturday, this last Saturday that passed, but.
Yeah, that's the hilarious thing is like I was planning on doing it early this week and having it banked because I knew the end of the week was going to be garbage.
Yeah, and what ended up happening, it was just like that moment when we were like, oh, I think you like woke up, you were like kind of tired, just wanted to like kind of like just fucking go back to sleep, and I was like, I'm fine. But it was like if I realized that next day, Sunday, the day we were thinking about recording, is the one day that my dad's off.
Yeah,
and it's just like I don't want to be an ass because like no, we record around like a normal time, like 2:30, which is usually when he goes to sleep. But here's the deal: on his day off, the one day off he tries to stay up as long as he fucking can.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I don't want to be an asshole. Like, hey, bitch, go to
bed. Yeah, I think that it was just a confluence of like shit because like it was, that Friday or whatever. I had worked like a 12-hour shift at work.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no. The recording's not going to happen today. Had we known about your dad being off or whatever, like that wouldn't have been a problem, but I would have just suffered through it, but it's fine. I'll be honest with you guys. I'll apologize ahead of time. This might be kind of a short episode. I think we're just going to kind of talk about some news items, talk about what we've been up to the past week. I've actually, weirdly enough, I have carved out a couple of hours to play some video games this week. So I can actually talk about some video games for a change. But I think we're just gonna kind of do that and kind of do a quick, episode this week, and hopefully next week we'll be able to dive back into a more typical kind of longer form episode where we can talk about topics and stuff like that, because I have actually thought of a few topics to add to the vault.
Oh really?
So I've got some interesting ones that I've added to the vault, so next week we'll go back to the more topic based structure. So I think you wanted to start us off by talking about some Twitch stuff, right?
Oh yeah. It's more like just YouTube / Twitch stuff in general. So, as I'm an unemployed piece of shit right now, I've been bored. More so than usual. And I've kind of like been looking at like YouTube. I've been looking at like the games I have on my PS4. And I've been in the mood to play Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. The last time that we did a Dark Souls stream was like... Well, I'm going to go by the upload date. Was like June.
Right.
Or some shit. I was like, ooh, shit. And I was kind of like thinking to myself, I was like, you know what? Seth is probably never going to play that with me again.
I mean, would I like to?
I mean, of course, but it's just like, it's. I don't think it's ever really going to work out. The stars will never align like that one day. And
right.
I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna continue that playthrough by myself. But instead of streaming it on Twitch, I'm basically doing it. I'm just recording myself on like OBS and just making some videos up. I actually have 2 parts ready to go up. They might be up. Probably. I'm gonna get the first part up on Saturday. And I'm going to like kind of stagger the uploads, and I'm going to probably have the second part. Well, it's going to be more like the second and third part. The third part will probably come out, I'm gonna give it a couple days. I'm gonna basically let go part 2 on Saturday, part 3 probably on Monday. But when like I don't have to stagger the upload dates because nobody watches that shit. But
But
I,
hey, you might as well.
I don't know, just I don't want to like upload it all in one go.
Yeah.
And that's just something I'm gonna be working on. I'm gonna be doing like a Dark Soul, probably like a full Dark Souls playthrough, and then I will probably start streaming. I was talking to Seth about this. I'm probably gonna start streaming Monster Hunter whenever I play it, which honestly might happen today or late. It probably happen on Saturday as well. Honestly, I play a lot of that game, and I'm ready to play some more. And it's actually a good segue into some Monster Hunter.
God. I hope that I hope that the small audience that we do have shudders in the way that I do whenever you talk about Monster Hunter.
Now, this honestly might be one of the last times I like really talk about Monster Hunter in like a big bad way.
It's
Because
funny because I told you this, but I want to say it on the
oh
podcast.
no,
So
don't say it. It's bad.
it's funny because my fiance's been like kind of going back and catching up, and she's been going back through the episodes, and she was on like episode like 50 or like 49 or something like that, like 12 episodes ago, and she was talking about like she was like, holy shit, like Todd's still like talking about Monster Hunter. Like even back then, like it was like, what have you been up to this week? Monster Hunter.
I
Just
it's on a
it
list
was
now, man. The game's on a list of like my top 5 like all time games type shit.
that shit, like, and I think that episode was back in like early May or something
Yeah,
like that.
sounds about right. Sounds about right. But this is probably gonna be the last like really like meaty Monster Hunter thing for me, unless like another content like drop comes out. But
Well, that's the thing. I mean, they have been up,
that's it.
keeping
Yeah, that's like I continue playing, and then if they're adding more shit, I'm gonna talk about it. It's what I play. And so what they ended up adding is the Final Fantasy crossover event with Behemoth,
yeah.
which is fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Sounds cool.
Now, the Behemoth fight is probably the most fun that I've had in Monster Hunter when I don't do it with randoms. Doing this fight with randoms is like it is like in the grand scheme of things basically doing like a raid boss with like a random group. You don't want to do that shit.
Yeah.
You don't. It's because you motherfuckers don't know what the hell's going on, and that's actually the deal. Like they actually like catered this fight to like it is it's very much like an MMO fight. There's a lot of a lot of un-Monster Hunter things that you have to worry about. You need to sit there and like they'll cast this. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, but it's like this fucking wind spell. You can see that it's on you, and there's multiple ways to take this out. You can basically do like a flash pod that stops them from casting it altogether, or you can be smart and just run the fuck away and bring it to like a corner of the room where you're not even gonna be, as it like
Okay.
drops down like a fucking tornado. There's like there's so many things about this fight that I really respect. Like you have to sit there, and there is an aggro system, which honestly I wish just existed in the game, like for every fight, because it's just there's something really awesome about it. Somebody being able to actually play a tank, like especially like Lance would probably be perfect for this. I wish I actually still had my Lance. Because there's actually an attack with the lance where you just basically like poke upwards, and that's perfect. You're sitting there poking that little shit right in the fucking face, that's how you build up the enmity or amity, whatever the fuck they call it. And I mean, I like the way that it's like kind of like you basically it's kind of it looks kind of dumb. Like I don't know if you've actually seen gameplay of it. Is there's just like
No.
a fucking red line to you, whoever has the aggro.
Oh, just a straight up. I think that's actually how they do it in the like Final Fantasy like 14.
That's legit. I don't mind
Yeah.
that. I actually kind of like it. But that's actually something I didn't know is you could actually cancel that shit. Like you can actually flash pot them and cancel that whole aggro.
Okay.
Because it's a smart move. Like, so the one of the attempts that we did, it was so it was me, my buddy Tyler, and his girlfriend. We were playing. It was all three of us, and she got aggro. She's not bad at the game at all. Like it's just like certain things. Like she's getting there she's getting there like skill wise to where she can actually handle this shit. And what ended up happening is like she got the aggro, and me and Tyler were just like, flashback, because it's just like the final attempt that we did was it's after she got off, and it was like because we two-manned it a while back, like kind of it was funny, we two-manned it around like one of the first days that Behemoth came out. But here's the deal: we didn't technically complete it because we both died. But it was one of the things. So like the ecliptic meteors, the final one he casts kills him. It kills him as well as you if you're not behind a comet. That's actually the whole thing. The whole thing is like you're trying to like get him to the point where he does these comets. He drops these comets down. He does the ecliptic meteor. You get behind the comets, survive the ecliptic meteor. He moves on to another area. Like you want to get basically he ends up in Nergigante's final room.
Oh, okay.
And that's like the final boss area. And which is honestly the worst fucking area to fight him because it's so damn tiny. And it's just like it's kind of hard to keep the comets actually alive because that's the thing. Like you have to like make sure you protect them. That's another thing you got to think about the entire time. You got to like think about where you are in the fight because it's like you want to make sure none of those comets are behind you. Because there's one attack that honestly pisses me the hell off. Is he slams his fucking hand on the ground and does a full like it's like a multiple wave thing. It's like boom, 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 and it goes across the entire fucking battle, like the entire arena, and it can hit those comets and fuck them up. Like you got to be so like aware of your surroundings in this fight, and I respect it. Like you have to like use your head. You got to think about like what the hell you're doing. There's so much to this fight. Like, honestly, like if you still played the game, I think you'd love this shit.
I'm sure I would. I mean,
Like,
I have a lot of experience with
yeah. I think you would
MMOs and
absolutely
stuff.
love like this experience in Monster Hunter. Like I was watching a video, and I forgot who it is, but he's like, doing this fight basically made me really want like an MMO with Monster Hunter's combat, and I'm like, I feel that, I really do, because that's actually one of the things I kind of like. Within that, this is off like on a little tangent, an MMO, like a standard like cut and dry like World of Warcraft MMO. That's like the standard. Like you play World of Warcraft, you usually play like every fucking MMO nowadays.
Yeah.
But like you do a little bit of different. Like that's kind of like why I like ESO a little bit because it is kind of like it kind of has like a little bit of that cut and dry MMO shit, but it kind of does its own thing because it's like you're playing Elder Scrolls.
Well, I mean, ESO in particular is a very, very unique game because like ESO is not concerned with like first and foremost, ESO basically does play exactly like an Elder
Yeah,
Scrolls game.
with a little bit of a MMO like
You
thrown
know,
in basically.
obviously, yeah, I mean, obviously the MMO stuff is like still present, but like they were very concerned, and you can tell like when designing that game, like they were concerned making it like an Elder Scrolls game first and an
Oh yeah,
MMO
without a doubt.
second.
That's honestly why I really enjoy Elder Scrolls Online for the most part.
Yeah, if I were to be playing any MMO consistently, like in this day and age, it would be ESO.
Oh, without a doubt. Like it's honestly the most fun I've had on an MMO in a long time.
It sure isn't gonna be WoW, not anymore.
Whoo!
I'll tell you what, they pissed me off.
That's actually kind of a good segue. I'm kind of like,
Yeah, we could talk about that.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, we could definitely talk about that. I don't want to go like too deep into it because we're already like 15 minutes into this podcast. But I do want to talk, you know, so they have this whole they've been debuting these kind of animated there's a name for them. What are they calling them?
Warbringers.
Yeah, so it's basically like cutscenes that are sort of like building up to the events of their new expansion coming out.
Yeah.
battle for Azeroth.
I think
And
a lot of it really a lot of this was dealt. I think a lot of this is building up to something that's already happened in game. I think the battle for forget the name of the fucking place.
I don't know,
It's
but
the city that's above the Undercity.
oh, what, Tearsful or Lordran?
There you go.
Yeah. So yeah, so it's I mean, look, it's interesting. Like I like the idea of like doing this build up stuff. They're always really good about that. Blizzard's always been really good about that. About the sort of build up to the release of the expansions
Yeah.
and stuff. And I think Battle for Azeroth comes out like later this month. Um, I probably have never been less interested in a WoW expansion. Just for just for like a from like a just gameplay standpoint, because I don't really care about they're not doing anything that's really blowing my skirt up with like the gameplay.
Hmm.
Um, but they're also, from a story setup, it's not really doing anything for me either.
Well, I think we both talked about this to each other. It's just like they're basically seems like they're doing the same thing they did with Garrosh.
Yeah, they're rehashing what they did with Garrosh Hellscream, basically taking the leader of the Horde war chief, who is currently Sylvanas, and just making her evil for the
Hmm.
sake of making her
And
evil.
it's already like they did another cinematic with Sourfang,
Yeah.
and like it looks like they're just basically grooming him to be like just to take that over as like
It's like, all
the
right, so we'll just set him up as the next war chief, and that's all fine. The issue that I take with it is that it does feel like a betrayal to the character of Sylvanas. I understand that you want to make things fresh and you
and
want to make
and it's
things.
funny. I talked about this with you. It's such an interesting thing. It's because you have like Sylvanas is like your favorite character.
She's one of them, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing of like seeing the people that are actually still like there's people that are like defending like all this is bullshit, like basically saying what you're saying, like it's a betrayal of like the character. And then there's other people like not as like big on Sylvanas, like oh this is just you're seeing what she really is type of shit.
The issue that I take, and I'll go on a little bit of a tangent. I'll really show my WoW, because I've been a Warcraft nerd since
Yeah.
Warcraft 3. You know, um, and I mean, like, for the thing that really pisses me off is like, and the reason that Sylvanas is such a cool character is that she is not, you know, Warcraft is never about good versus evil. Like, it's always been about the morally gray and
Yeah.
the sort of like, it's about war. It's about warring factions in a world at war, and the morally gray. There's two sides to all those stories. That's actually one of the reasons that I really like Duncan Jones' Warcraft movies so much, is because it doesn't take the Horde and say, "Oh, these are the bad guys." There's no real quote unquote bad guys in the Warcraft movie. There is a like villain, but like in Warcraft certainly does have its villains and it does have its pure evil characters. But when you're talking about the Horde and the Alliance and the characters within that, nobody's really evil. You know what I mean?
Kind of like, can I go
Until
on
the
off like a quick tangent? It's funny, is that movie still getting shit in comments? I'm like, I saw that movie getting shit during the Old Soldier cinematic in the comments. Like,
yeah,
why couldn't they just do this? And I'm like, I like the movie, so
I think the movie's way better than people give it credit for.
yeah.
It's not perfect. It's not even great, but I think that movie's way better than
Oh
people
yeah.
give it credit for. Um, but that is something that I think the movie did really well. And Sylvanas in particular, just as a character, she she's kind of like, she rose above sort of like the things that happened to her in her life, and she took on a sort of more honorable mantle of like, we're gonna rise above. I'm gonna rise above my circumstances. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, I'm not gonna become basically the Lich Queen, because that's something that she could have done basically instantly. You know what I mean? Like, she could have done that forever ago, and she didn't. She was honorable and she did her own thing and she rose above her circumstances. And now, for basically no reason other than to lazily set up your story for your upcoming expansion, you've made her evil.
Yeah,
Um,
it's basically just like a character assassination right now.
just for no reason. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like, oh, boycott Battle for Azeroth. I mean, if you like it, you like it. I just don't. And like, it's to me, it is a betrayal of the character, and it is something like, and I've talked about this in relation to like Star Wars. I'm not gonna sit there and beat the drum and boycott the game. I'm just not gonna play it.
Yeah,
If I don't like something, I just don't play it. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree with you, man.
And it's so funny because like I and I've talked to you about this. I'm like, God, I really wish, and this is such an arrogant thing for me to say, but I'm just like, it's one of those things. If I could get hired on at Blizzard to work on World of Warcraft at a design level, I would do that job for free. Like I really would do that job for free.
Well, it's just like you have so much love for
I
the
love that game
world
so much.
and the
I
lore.
don't play it. Yeah, well, just the lore and just like the game itself, like that game is so important to me.
Yeah,
And I haven't played it consistently in years, but I still have such a love for that game and like what it represents in my personal life. And like it's one of those things where I look at it, I'm just like, God, I could fix this. You know what I
no,
mean?
I agree with you, man.
And it's one of those things where like I look at it and I look at like I look at the struggles that Blizzard has to keep that game relevant, 15 years on. And like I understand where they're coming from because you can't just keep doing the same shit, but like at the same time I think that there's some design things that could definitely be changed and there's some story things that could definitely be changed with Warcraft that would bring the game sort of back to its roots and sort of give the, like like they're all hung up on like the one of the big draws for Battle of Azeroth, for example, is having all of these random new races that you can play as for each faction, and it's like, but yet you took the concept of hero classes and you did one.
That's the
You know what I
realest
mean?
shit. Like your biggest thing is like your whole thing is like the expansion you've always wanted is involving the Emerald Dream.
Yeah, I thought that that was a place that we were gonna go to like pretty early on. I thought like basically like not long after Wrath. I think Cataclysm was actually a good expansion, but like Mists of Pandaria is kind of a throwaway expansion to be honest.
Oh, it was.
Uh, but so like I sort of the Emerald Dream is so like rife for an expansion, and then I was like, and that's the perfect opportunity to include like an Archdruid sort of like an archdruid sort of hero class, you know.
Is there
Um,
legit only one hero class?
it's just Death Knight.
That's fucked
For,
up.
I mean, I guess I don't know if they consider Demon Hunter a hero class.
I mean, it does start off at like a higher level.
Yeah, so I
So,
mean, I guess that might be considered a hero
but
class,
still
but
two.
that's also, yeah, I don't know. But that's still, even that was only just introduced in the
Yeah,
last
it's and
expansion.
the thing is, the Demon Hunter doesn't even have like three specializations. It's just fucking DPS and
Yeah,
tank.
yeah. So it's just, I don't know. There's some things, and I actually think Legion is like a legitimately great expansion. Um, but I mean, like, I think Legion did a lot of really good things. And I'm sure if I dug into it, I'm sure Battle for Azeroth is going to be doing some cool things too. But like, it bums me out to see them kind of run in circles with this game. And I don't know, I think the game kind of deserves a little bit more love and care than it's been getting. But that's a little bit of a tangent. Have you been doing anything else this week?
Um, I think that's really like you know me. I play nothing but Monster Hunter and like Destiny once a week.
I do want to talk about a game that just recently kind of came out of its early access, and I've been waiting for it patiently to come out on Switch, and that's Dead Cells.
it's it's funny is I've actually always been interested in this game because like I used to watch Peeve play it on Twitch a lot.
Yeah, you would definitely like that game.
Yeah.
Like it's funny because I play all these indie games and like every now and then I'm just like with Hollow Knight, I'm like, man, you would really like Hollow Knight
Yeah.
and Dead Cells. Like you would really, I would say I would maybe recommend Dead Cells to you even above Hollow Knight.
I
Um,
feel that like because I've seen both games. I think Dead Cells looks more my cup of tea.
There are things about it that I think are more your cup of tea. I think the combat is definitely more your cup of tea because Dead Cells is like so Dead Cells is a 2D side-scrolling combat platformer. Basically I can call it I guess I would essentially call it like a roguelike Castlevania
Mm.
is probably the best
Would you say it's the
corollary I could
Dark
draw.
Souls of a roguelike Castlevania?
Yeah. It's the Dark Souls of roguelike Castlevanias. But yeah, it has sort of it's difficult. It's chaotic. It is a RPG in that like you're picking up things that are constantly kind of leveling your character up in the quote unquote run. Um,
Well, that's
and I don't know, like
another thing about it is like it is kind of like some personal preference shit for that run. Like, oh, there's like items you can like you might not like, and there's items you actually might like in your run.
well, like for me, like when I'm playing it, like I look, I've gotten to the point already where I'm sort of looking out for specific items,
Yeah.
like. I've definitely gotten to the point where I'm like, oh man, like I really like to have my secondary weapon be this like hammer that does huge damage for the first 75% of the enemy's health bar, and then it starts to kind of like become not really worth. So you get a couple hits with the hammer, and then you finish them off with your primary. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And I really like that vibe. But then there's also weapons like there's a whip that is really good because it gives you some range and it also ignores shields. So there's some kind of like shielded enemies that the whip totally ignores. And it's and then there's range, there's bows and stuff like that. There are shields, which the shields have parrying options, which is very nice and helpful. The game also does some really unique things with like even aside from just like the fluidity of the combat, and I think the combat is really like fast and cool. But it also does like some really cool things just in terms of roguelikes, because often roguelikes will not let you carry anything forward after you fail. It's just like with Spelunky, for example, probably the best roguelike ever made. You go in, you do your run, and that's your run, and like every run starts exactly the same. You know what I mean? In Dead Cells, they allow you to spend your earnings, and this is not the first game that's done this, but they allow you to like sort of get permanent upgrades that you can carry forward into future runs.
See,
So
I
like
like that. I like that there
I
is a
like
level of like you're rewarded for completing runs.
well, and it makes me so the way that you do that is like every now and then enemies will drop cells, which is the currency that you spend to buy these upgrades. And once when you have banked like a lot of cells, it makes it stressful. Like you're just like, fuck, I like really don't want to die. And like I really want to get through this stage so that I can spend my cells and get my upgrade, right? Um so it adds to the tension like in a really cool way. And some of those upgrades are really helpful. So like I have an upgrade now where like if I have over 3,000 gold, like I basically every time I die, I get up to 3,000 of my gold back. So like say say I die in a run where I had like 4,000 gold, when I come back, I instantly have 3,000 of
That's
that gold
legit.
back. You know what I mean?
That's
And
actually awesome.
you can upgrade that to be like 6,000, 8,000, blah blah blah. So you can come into your new runs with like a ton of gold. You know what I mean? Um, and there are like health potions, and you can upgrade your health potions where now I can heal 2 or 3 times before needing to refill and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then there are also these things called mutations where which this is also something that a lot of roguelikes incorporate, where between levels there are kind of passive things that you can, so like, oh, a 30% health increase, or the one that I usually go for is like health on kill. So like you can get a mutation where it's like you get 2 health or 3 health or whatever every time you kill an enemy. So that's nice to have when you have no other way of healing. You know?
That's actually something I'd probably actually go for myself.
So, and there are a ton of different mutations, and there are a ton of like blueprints for even more like weapons. Like the game is surprisingly deep with the amount of weapons and items that there are. And there are, it's procedurally generated, but the maps that for the stages they throw you in really do feel like big, sprawling Metroidvania, Castlevania kind of maps. Like with things to explore and secrets to find and even like some story stuff. And it's interesting. It's really good. Like I really like it a lot. And I love Hollow Knight because Hollow Knight feels like it is a Metroidvania. Like Hollow Knight is a little more sophisticated, I guess, and Dead Cells is a little more just like fun. Like it's just fast and fluid and fun. And it's really easy to just like dive right in. And I think that makes it perfect for the Switch. I really love playing it on my Switch. It's actually funny because the developers have uh, they put the Switch port out, and apparently it runs considerably worse on the Switch than it does on other platforms.
Yeah, I actually read about that.
Um, has not been an issue to me whatsoever. Like I haven't noticed any sort of like frame rate dips or anything like that. Apparently, what the thing is, it runs at 60 frames on everything else, and it runs at only a drab 30 on the
That's a
Switch.
that's the whole
So,
thing. Is just like it's funny. Is this is gonna go back to Monster Hunter for a second because it actually just came out on PC,
yeah,
and it's just like I've seen the deal. Like it's basically looks the same as my how it looks on my PS4 Pro. It just so happens to run at a very smooth 60, and I'm like, who gives a shit?
yeah. It's
I
like
have 400 hours in that fucking game. You think I'm gonna jump on fucking PC?
and you see the comments like just like "Ugh, I regret getting the game on, so it runs at a disgusting 30 frames on
I
Switch.
It's like I don't give a fuck about like the frame rates. Like as long as the game's good, it's like who gives a shit?
And I'm like, well, I mean, here's the deal. Like, I was going to, a city for wedding shopping, like 2 hours away just the other day, and I just sat there and played Dead Cells. And being able to do that on the Switch is still, a year and a half on is still a magical thing. And I can't, if I owned the game on PS4, I couldn't do that.
Without a doubt.
Dead ass. And like, if I have to take a frame rate hit to do that, that's fine. Now, the developers did say, like, hey, if this is a big deal for you guys, we can work on further optimizing it and make the game run even better on Switch, which is actually what they're doing now. They've announced that all hands are now on deck to improve the game's performance on Switch, and optimize it even further. And I think they said they hope by the end of the year to have the Switch version of the game optimized even further to be on par with the other versions of the game.
I mean, there you go. People bitched it to the point where they're gonna make it better. I guess that's
Yeah. Well, the game is so like enjoyable and playable already, like on Switch. Like it's kind of their conundrum was, do we delay the Switch version of the game to optimize it and make it, give it parity with the other versions, or do we have this totally fine, totally playable thing just runs at a half the frame rate and just put that out now so that Switch owners can enjoy it. I'm glad they did because I mean the game is still great despite that.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to spending much more time with it. Um, I've been dabbling in God of War a little bit, just trying to get back into that and try to get back into the swing of things with God of War, which was funny because like I turned it on. I think I was actually talking to you when I turned it on, and I was just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing right now. Like even just the controls, I'm like, how do I do this?
Yeah, I honestly when we were talking, I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I'd probably like I'd probably be the same way because the game is like it doesn't like I wouldn't say it has weird controls, but
Mm, it does have kind of weird. I mean, dude, do you realize how long it took me to like remember how to cross gaps?
oh no, really?
Yeah, because I get to like a gap and I'm like, oh fuck, what button? It's circle, by the way. You have to like hold circle to like cross gaps. It's
Problem.
like
That's the thing,
weird.
man. Like I kind of like I did a really really good like solid playthrough of that game, and I kind of just like fell off it. Like I almost platinumed it with just like my standard playthrough.
Yeah, like I want to that's my whole thing is I want to go and like platinum it and really like dig deep back into it. I would really like to because Spider-Man comes out next month, and that's definitely going to be my main game for a little while. Um, but but I do want to. I would like to. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, just because of the way work and wedding planning and stuff has been lately. But I would love to platinum that game before Spider-Man comes out.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think so either, but I'm gonna try.
I'll,
Um,
I'll pray for you. No, I'm just playing.
last thing I kind of want to talk about. We had a couple things that we were going to talk about. We're running a little long already. But I did want to talk briefly, um, just to kind of go over it. You and I did watch the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate Direct together
Ooh, yeah, we did.
this past Wednesday. God. So what was your like thoughts on that direct?
That show's fantastic. So I'm happy that I wasn't spoiled on one of the reveals like you were.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah.
Like that was an awesome like reveal to see. Like they're bringing like some Castlevania shit to it. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so they announced Simon Belmont and Richter Belmont for the game. And it was, yeah, the previous, the night before the direct on Wednesday, at like 4 o'clock in the morning or something like that, Nintendo uploaded the music track for Bloody Tears, which is kind of the classic Castlevania
Yeah.
song. So people are like, "Oh, all right, I guess we're getting the Castlevania character," you know. And sure enough, they opened the direct with the reveal of Simon Belmont,
And the death of
which
Luigi.
yeah, which has become
It's become a meme. I love it.
a
It's
good
funny.
meme.
It's just like Ridley kills Mario. No one bats an eye. Or Death kills Luigi. Everyone loses their minds.
And it's funny because somebody pointed out that like Luigi apparently does not appear through the rest of the direct.
Oh shit.
Like after that point, even in like gameplay snippets, like there's no Luigi.
That's hilarious. That's that. Yeah, that's some calculated shit right there.
Oh, it is so that whole direct is so Sakurai has such an attention to detail. So like, you know, the other characters they announced, they announced as Echo Fighters, Crom, and because we got the Fire Emblem fans have been desperate for more Fire Emblem characters. Those poor babies. There's been no Fire Emblem representation, so finally we have some more Fire Emblem characters. Um, so they Crom is in as an Echo Fighter, and then Dark Samus is in
Man,
as an
that's
Echo
kind of cool
Fighter.
though.
It's cool. It's funny because they say in the direct like, oh, fans have been asking for this for a long time. I was like, oh, really? I don't think I've heard fans say that even once.
My favorite part of the entire direct, for me personally, was when Shovel Knight was shown as an assist trophy,
Yeah,
and all I hear is you go, "That's a slap in the face."
it's a total slap in the face. It really is. I mean, like, I understand the logic of like not having indie game representation in the Smash roster, but like to me, Nintendo has been such a staunch supporter of indies, especially in the Switch era, and
Oh,
Shovel
without a
Knight
doubt.
specifically. Shovel Knight specifically got his start on Nintendo platforms. I mean, Shovel Knight launched on the 3DS,
Yep.
and then moved on to Wii U, and it was a launch title for the Switch, um, and the Nintendo versions of Shovel Knight are the definitive versions of Shovel Knight. I own that game basically on every conceivable fucking platform. And so, believe me when I tell you that the Nintendo versions are the best versions. Um, So like, it's a bummer. I thought that if there was any indie IP, any indie game character that would have a chance on the Smash roster would be Shovel Knight. To say nothing of the fact that he would be perfect just gameplay wise to have. So I mean, look, it's beggars can't be choosers, I guess. I guess I have to be happy that he's in the game at all.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. There's some Shovel Knight fans that are like, "Oh, don't worry, that all that means is that the playable Shovel Knight character is gonna be Spectre Knight." And I'm like, "No, dude, no." You just throw that out right now. But the
Is that something that people have been saying?
I've seen a couple people say that. Yeah,
Wow. I mean,
like,
it would be cool.
no, look, I'd love it, but no, that's not gonna happen in a million years. But they ended the direct with kind of like a one more thing kind of character reveal, and like I called it basically immediately
No, you did.
as
Yeah.
we were watching it, and I was like, oh, these motherfuckers are gonna do it. They're gonna give us K. Rool, because I'm telling you, like, this game Smash Ultimate has spoiled us like just absolutely fucking rotten. He is basically giving us every character that fans have been asking for years is in this game.
You know what's fucking hilarious is K. Rool looks so fucking good too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he looks so fun.
Oh yeah, like, and like that's something that Sakurai has like stressed in the past. Like, it's hard. The like making characters for Smash is really difficult. So you have to imagine that he came into Smash Ultimate saying like, no, this is truly the ultimate Super Smash Brothers game.
Yeah.
It has all of the characters from the past and all of these new characters that represent everything you guys have been asking for years. I mean, these are characters, Ridley and K. Rool. These are characters that people have been asking for since the days of Melee.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, people have literally been asking for these characters for like 10 plus years. And to see them finally represented is like kind of a beautiful thing. And I love, God, the K. Rool reveal trailer is so good and so trolly. I love it so much. I wanted to ask you, are there any other characters you can think of? Like, who's left? You know what I mean?
Like, that's a good question. Honestly, like,
Who are the holy grail characters? Who are the newcomers that would really blow your skirt up at this point? You know what I mean? They've kind of touched on them all.
yeah.
I do want to make a prediction right now. It's going to be a little bit crazy, but I really do I think Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in this game.
Really?
I do. Because back when Smash 4, like Smash Wii U had DLC coming out, Phil Spencer was like, "Oh, like we love Smash Brothers, blah blah blah. We would love to see Banjo-Kazooie as a DLC character." You know?
Mm-hmm.
So Microsoft, in other words, Microsoft is open to having Banjo in the game. And evidently, based on the results of like the Smash polls that they took when Smash Wii U was out, Banjo-Kazooie is a highly requested fighter.
Oh, fantastic.
So I almost feel like, and Banjo obviously has a deep history, as a Nintendo 64 game. So I almost feel like it's not too crazy to think that Banjo is going to come as a fighter in Smash Ultimate. And in fact, Sakurai has said that we do still have a few more fighter reveals to come before the launch of the game. So I think that we're going to get some more Echo fighters. Maybe 2 or 3 more Echo
Yeah, you
fighters.
definitely get more Echo Fighters just because those are probably the easiest for them to do.
Well, they're easy. Yeah, they're the movesets are the same. It's
It's like slight animation changes.
animation and voice changes and
Yeah.
skin changes and stuff. It's pretty straightforward
Oh, did
stuff.
you see one thing that made me laugh? Is that people commenting on the chairs behind Sakurai?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, they're the color scheme of Waluigi, apparently.
Oh, God bless. That man is such a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think the chairs behind him were like purple and yellow, and I saw people like, "Oh, this motherfucker."
That's so funny. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah, but no, like I really do. I think we'll get maybe one more direct to sort of detail the final like the modes of the game because there
Yeah,
is that one hidden mode, which weirdly some people have done some digging and they think it's called spirits mode. So maybe the shit that happened with Luigi is a little bit of a tease towards that. I don't know
maybe.
what that could necessarily mean, but evidently if you look at it in certain frames, you can kind of make out what it says
Okay.
in the pixels. And I guess people think it says spirits. And in fact, if you do the same thing in the Japanese direct, um, you could make out in the Japanese text that translates to spirits as well.
Okay. Interesting. Well, we'll see what the hell that is.
So I sort of feel like, and this is also because it's got like on the menu it's represented in green. I almost feel like this is sort of a sequel to the Street Pass Spot Pass functionality in the first one in Smash 3DS. Because in Smash 3DS, green is like kind of the Street Pass color,
Yeah.
and if you pass somebody, you get somebody's Street Pass tag on 3DS, you can kind of battle, do the Street Pass shit with their. I almost feel like it's gonna be something like that, where, for example, maybe I can tag somebody's like spirit that I played with online and sort of practice against them. You know, practice against an AI that plays like them.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just speculation on my part, if that is indeed what that is. But yeah, no. I think one more direct before the launch of the game, maybe in October or something like that, revealing Banjo, revealing a couple new Echo fighters. So I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much what I got this week. Todd, was there anything else you wanted to add
I
before we
mean,
wrap it
there's
up?
more stuff we could talk about, but I think we ran a little longer than we thought we would.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much gonna do it for us this week, unless you wanted to throw anything else in there.
I mean, anything that I could talk about, I could talk about it next time. So,
Sounds good. We'll catch you guys next time. Thanks for listening. Get fucking dunked on. Bye.
see ya.